Today, I wanted to share with you how I get started with my new Linux Mint installations. So, a lot of you use Linux or are just starting to use Linux, and you may have chosen Linux Mint. You may have chosen Ubuntu. That's what the main Linux Mint is based on. There's also a alternative LMDE distribution that is available. And today I wanted to share with you how to install some of the most common applications that you might want if you are a developer or just kind of looking for various technologies and apps that you would want to incorporate on Linux that you might not be familiar with adding to your current operating system. If, for instance, Windows or Mac is what you were familiar with initially. So I'm using OBS right now. You may be familiar with that. That is what I'm using to record and stream. When I first hopped on, the first thing you want to do when you're starting off with your operating system is make sure that you're on an internet connection. Once you're on an internet connection, you can go down to your terminal. You can also press shortcut to get to that. And if you press Control-Shift-T, you can open up a new tab, and Control-Alt-T will open up a new terminal. And pardon me, hit a different computer screen mouse. So down here you'll see this was the command I typed when I installed OBS. This is a brand new install. The only thing that I've installed on this operating system so far was OBS. I typed sudo space apt get install OBS studio, which was a typo. I missed the dash in there, so as you'll see, added a dash, and bam, it took a couple minutes to install the 100 megabytes, and blam, it was done. Alright, so what else do we want to install on our fresh Linux system? Well, I suppose the next thing that we want to install is going to be Brave. And the Brave browser is a little bit different than some of the other browsers, so we always go straight to the home page. That's oftentimes what we're going to do for any of these applications that we want to install, whether it's Telegram, Signal, Brave, an FTP client, etc., etc. So let's see here. It's telling us right now to install on Linux. We've got these various options: Debian, Ubuntu, and Mint. Those are going to be what we're on because we're on Mint. So we're just going to copy this whole thing, and we're going to hit Control-Alt-T, and then we're just going to hit Control-Shift-V to paste, and it should execute all these operations. And if not, we'll pay attention to it, and we'll just have to paste them again. You'll have to type in your password if you have a password set, which I recommend. This installation was a shared Windows Ubuntu installation that then has so it's half Windows, half Mint, and then on the same hard drive. So with this particular one, I had to disable Secure Boot to get it to go, and now it is working super fast and smooth. There's a way to enable Secure Boot, but there's a 40-page manual to set that up, so I skipped that at the moment. So we pasted the whole set of lines. What's interesting about this is that even though there's multiple commands, you see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of commands. You'll notice that the way the Unix ran here for us, when we pasted this, it actually did go ahead and it performed the first operation, then it performed the second operation, then the third, and the 4th, and the 5th. Hopefully, it at least showed on the Unix console that it took all of that. And we'll see what happens here. Looks like it's installing it. So first I had to install curl, then it curled a specific URL that had the key ring for Brave, then it put that into the repository so that we can download that in our operating system, and then it ran a update so that it would trigger the repository update, and then at that point, since the repo has Brave browser included in the repo list, pardon my poor vocabulary there, it then was able to complete this operation. And so now if we just hit our window key, which I like to always customize that, so you can just right click that and click configure, and then the icon right here, you can specify whatever icon you would like, and we will choose, apparently not a heart. Apparently we could choose love though. Let's see. Blam. There we go. And maybe even make it big just for fun. There's a lot of things that can be done with the customization on Linux Mint. Blam. Okey-doke. So now we've got Brave installed. Waha. Firefox is pretty dandy, but Brave is better. So we'll set that as our default browser. We'll skip the importing process. Sure, we will share crash reports and anonymous data with Brave. Okay, so now let's get Telegram. Telegram usually has us download Telegram, so that there's different processes for different apps, and so you do want to do a little bit of research for everything depending on what you're planning to install. For PC, Linux, Telegram for Linux, blam. So this is just going to give us a download file, and once we get that file, we can unzip it. And once it's unzipped, we can then open the executable, or in this case, it might be slightly different. Okay, extract here. We just right click that, and on the menu, select it, extract here, blam. So now it's extracting Telegram into the downloads directory. It's not done yet, but I'm still going to click it anyway. And as soon as it is done, we'll click this Telegram executable file. What actual file type is it? Unknown. It says it's an executable file. Alright, it's probably a .deb though. And you can make sure that you see all the extra stuff by just going to view, and even toggle location entry. Got an extra pane. Speaking of which, the theme by default on this desktop seemed to by default be kind of weird, so I'll probably change that. Blam. So all you gotta do to get your Telegram going now is scan your mobile code, so Telegram's ready to go. Might as well get rid of these. I believe we have it installed. Yeah, so if Telegram desktop's installed, we can just take this. We don't even need to move to trash, just delete it permanently. Who needs install files? And now, if you click the Telegram, it's gonna load this up. So, what else do we want? Probably gonna get Signal installed. Easiest way is to just straight search for each one, find the reference that you're most familiar with or that you've already, found a few peer-reviewed results for. And typically you go straight to the source though, so this is, signal.org, this is where it came from. It says Signal for Debian distributions, it says to do this specific stuff. So we'll just go ahead, we're just gonna take this whole thing and we're going to do something a little bit different just for fun. So I'm gonna go to the documents directory. I'm gonna create a new folder. I'm gonna call this folder apps, if it ever loads. I'm waiting for it to load. Create new folder. Okay. Apps. Inside apps, we're gonna create a new document, empty document. Inside this, we're gonna title this install, or we're just gonna say Signal, or IS, because that's super easy to type. So is.sh. sh stands for shell. Now it's a shell script. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go to the properties. We're gonna go to permissions. We're gonna go to allow executing file as program. And I guess that's all we need to do is just change that right there. Allow executing file as a program. Now we're gonna go here and we are going to edit this. Should be able to just open it. Actually, text editor. Okay, so we're gonna open up a text editor. In our text editor, we're gonna go ahead and we are going to paste this info here. This is the shell script. Install Signal. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna just open this directory in terminal, the apps directory. Once we're inside, we can hit ls to look at everything. Now I believe we need to type sudo bash is.sh, and then we need to type our password in. Well, blam, look at that go right there. So we just created our first Linux shell script, and it's got all the fun little notes. It's got the 3 steps that will be executed, and it is operating that shell script as we speak. We could include multiple commands, multiple installation strings in this single script if we so chose. Things change so rapidly on the internet that I still find myself Googling each, or Braving in this case, because Brave does have AI. So Brave, can you tell me a little about yourself? It'll probably tell us a little about itself because it actually is AI. Interview question. No. Anyway, the Brave browser is using AI. It just has very unique, very unique responses. I mean, we could type in like weather. And look at that, it does actually pull something up. So there's something going on there. Anyway, so what else do we want to install? we probably want to install Inkscape, maybe Critter. So to install Inkscape, we just go sudo apt install, and then we're gonna add Inkscape. Blam. I don't want to get Sublime Text because that's a nice one. Sublime Text. Install shell Linux Mint. Look at that. See, the AI from Brave, sometimes it's really nice. I love how it just auto-highlights these things. It's telling us how to add the repository. Blah. I wonder though, that's what they say to do, but then if we just search for Sublime Text, and we go there, then what's it say? Holy cow, Sublime Text 4 has been released. Linux repos. Well, blam. Look at that. So we're now going to make a new shell script. That one's still going, in case you didn't know, it just finished. Okay, create a new document. We're going to call this install Sublime. And we got to add the .sh, so it's just isub.sh. So it's just easy, and then we're going to go ahead and go to properties, and we are going to change the permissions while executing files program. And now we're going to go over to our text editor, and once we're in our text editor, we're going to load up the isub app instead of the i's. Now we're going to add this, and we're going to go back over here, and we're going to get the stable version, and then we're going to go. And we are gonna add these two commands to the end, and then what else do we got down here? If this fails, ensure app is set up to work with HTTPS sources. Oh yeah, it should work fine. HTTPS sources. So let's give this a save, and now we'll go back over to our terminal. Instead of running isub, or instead of running is, we're gonna run isub.sh. And so now we're going to be installing Sublime Text using this new little script here. And then let's see, we will probably want to install, let me see here, I'm checking over on my other system for fun things that are useful. GIMP is a good one. FileZilla. LibreOffice. Is Office already on here? Probably is. Yeah, LibreOffice comes with Linux Mint, of course. We don't even need that. GIMP, we will grab. It probably is just GIMP, yeah. That's hard. Alright, so we got our Sublime Text, so sudo apt install GIMP is our next task. Yes. make a master install list and note. Let's see, installed Telegram via download. Let's see. Installed GIMP. Install Sublime Text. Install this was the Brave, was it? What's the signal? Install signal. You'll probably find where it said Brave somewhere. What else do we want to install? We added GIMP. FileZilla is good for FTP. Guessing that will be as simple as install FileZilla. I don't know how I'm using up all the resources on this new thing, but it only has 6 gigs of RAM, so you do the math. It was a perfect little tester, though, to share this with everybody. There's so many different applications I could share. Thunderbird comes with the system. Discord is one. Let's see, will Discord grab itself for us? Nope. So let's see. Install Discord Linux. Discord's got the download. That is not Discord. That's the Discord I was thinking. Download for Linux. Okay, fine. We'll just do it as the deb. Deb files are simple executables for Linux, and they're super easy to open up. That's what that other executable was from Telegram as well. Alright, so we got our little Debbie. Oh gee. Requires installation of 8 packages. accept those. There is a few other apps we can get. If we don't already have it installed, we might want to get Krita. There's Pencil 2D. If you have a touch screen, you might want to get the Zernal application X. It's like journal with an X. Alright, so now we got Discord. Open Brave back up. Any of the ones that require direct download, kind of note that in the same spot. I think Pencil 2D is already in the database. Yeah, Pencil 2D is pretty great. Better for touchscreen, I'm sure. It's good for applications where you want to animate stuff. A good application to animate. Alright, so we'll put that in. If you could type. Suppose we'll save that before we break something. All Linux installs dot nothing. Well, for the most part, that's an example of, how to install all the stuff. We'll grab one more real quick. I believe that this one should be pretty straightforward as well. We already did install it. Whoops. As we see here, sometimes our multitasking ability gets bad. What else did we need? We already got FileZilla, we already got Pencil 2D, we got Brave, we got Signal, we got Inkscape, we got GIMP. Okay, maybe we want to customize some stuff a little bit. You'll always get your intro on the next Mint. It'll tell you the first steps. It'll let you choose your dark theme. Blam. And your highlight color. Made my highlight purple. The panel layout. There's the modern or the traditional. It looks like my memory is starting to max out, so we'll probably call this good. Today we shared with you how to install some of our favorite apps on Linux Mint. Without further ado, before things explode. Oh look, we're back alive. So be sure to go through the first steps that Linux Mint has cited here. You can set up system snapshots. You can check for additional drivers and go through the update manager. You can install a firewall. That's a good idea. It's super basic. Go ahead and have it on home. Turn the status on. By default, it denies incoming traffic and allows outgoing. Perfect. Firewall enabled. No drivers needed. Welcome to the update manager. And you've got lots of fun little options to change your menu settings and things like that, just like, Windows or Apple. This about covers it for what I intended to share today. You can always find a lot of different resources for Linux that are mostly open source and free, and so it's a lot more useful, I would say, than Windows tends to be. Be sure you got all your updates, turn on your firewall, and download whatever apps you want. And if you are looking to run Windows applications on Linux, you can go to your regular software manager here, and you can add either Wine or Crossover. And Crossover, I believe, is a paid solution. Wine and Crossover are used oftentimes today to play video games and run any kind of software. So there can be compatibility challenges with different hardware. So just keep that in mind when you're switching over. I personally run Windows and Linux systems. I use Windows for some of the creative sides of things, video editing and for various 3D production and sound production stuff. And then I use Linux for data and development and banking and secure internet access, any kind of applications that deal with anything that I want to be secure. I go through Linux, and then anything that is a little bit more playful and more on the creative side, I go through Windows. And still a little bit of a learning curve to get used to, but it has been eye-opening and life transformative. It's really helped me focus on what I want without getting my ass hacked. So, yeah. You'll find all sorts of cool stuff in the software manager. It looks like they've recently updated it. Pigeon's a good one for chatting, and you can even link your Google Cloud and things like that, and you can find different games. There's like the Wormux Super Tux Kart. There's another option for playing games on Linux called Play on Linux, which is still using Wine, and you can install Steam on here, and you can run DOS. So, there's a lot of cool stuff, and I highly recommend that if you haven't installed Linux yet, that you start with Linux Mint and you get your feet wet, because the sky's the limit with Linux. And as you see with a crazy bash script like this, you can program, you can code, you don't really have to know much to run these commands. I copied and pasted everything here and just slapped into a document and enabled the permissions and hit enter and it ran, so sure, the complexity of putting all this stuff together sometimes can be overwhelming if you're not familiar, but I highly recommend giving this a shot because it might help you with your technological abilities as well as discovering free and useful resources that you can use in 2023 as you're working with new technologies in an era where there's so much AI and so many emerging technologies. Security is a big factor to well-being, and I highly recommend Linux and Linux Mint to ensure your security and just enjoy everyday everyday goodness of the Linux community. I think you might find it's heartwarming, and once you get over the challenges in introduction, that things just run so much smoother than Windows. I don't even want to think about all the stuff that Windows has put me through, but Linux has its own challenges as well, so keep in mind you'll have lots of compatibility challenges and things like that depending on what you choose. So just be ready for a little bit of a learning curve when you get started, and you should be great. Take care, guys, and have an amazing 2023. If you found this at all useful, be sure to subscribe or give us a thumbs up.